The weekend AMA. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, every weekend I like to do a Ask Me Anything sort of. I got some good hair going on today, let me tell you. Ask Me Anything sort of stuff. Answer your questions, because I know when I started, that's what I really needed. I needed somebody that I could bounce ideas off of. I never had that luxury. So that's what the weekend AMAs are. Typically, I have a topic that I want to discuss. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm tired. I ain't got nothing to talk about. So I'm hoping you guys will carry the conversation. Show up with questions today. Usually I start off with a question. If we want, I can harp on my video for a second that I released today. So today I released a video talking about how you need to give up Bootstrap. And I would say about 1/10 of the audience disagreed. And you're wrong. So let me tell you why. So the reason you keep crutches around is because they serve utility purposes. So when you have a crutch, it's because your leg is broken or you have an issue with your leg, right? And you need a crutch to get around. When your leg heals, you no longer need the crutch, so you don't use it anymore. So the reason that Bootstrap became so popular was it handled manipulating the page in a much easier way when it came to media queries. And, granted, it had some CSS stylings and things like that, and that was nice. But the main reason Bootstrap became so popular was it handled the responsive aspects of CSS that were very time-consuming, which no longer are. It's kind of the same reason that Jquery is slowly getting deprecated. It's the things that were good in Jquery are the things that have already been added to the DOM, that have already been added to JavaScript. So you need to, when these things get added, you need to instead understand that it's time to drop these items because you no longer need the crutch. So Bootstrap is one of those things. Responsive design is super easy now. Media queries are simpler than they ever been. CSS Grid is simple. Flexbox is simple. It is a great time for you. You don't need these things anymore. Now, not everyone's going to listen. They're going to make their excuses. And I can't do anything about that. But what I can say is that one weekend of diving into media queries, CSS Grid, you can eliminate your use of Bootstrap for responsive design. That's it. That's all. That's all I got to say about that, man. That doesn't mean that you can't use other things. If people like to make it, when you say, hey, it's time for this to go away, they're like, what about Angular? What about React? No one said shit about dropping JavaScript frameworks. I talked about UI frameworks, UI libraries that have been deprecated. The React, Angular, they have a reason and a purpose, right? So we don't live in a world of absolutes. In this instance, I'm saying that it's time to give these up because they no longer have a use, really. You can still use them, but they've already been included in the native language of CSS. They've already made our lives completely much easier. And the main problem is that people continue to use them as crutches. And the argument that a lot of people have is, hey, I'm just using it because I don't want to spend all the time learning the CSS, this and that, and HTML, and move forward into programming. That's fine. But you can still struggle through it while learning other things. But the problem is that the majority of people, I should say, don't actually get off of it. They just sort of get hooked, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's gonna take me 2-3 weeks to go back. And I got studying this and that," and they start making excuses, and you never make the switch. So make the switch. It is time. I am telling you, it is time to make the switch out of Bootstrap. It has crippled the entire generation of developers, myself included, up until recent times. Myself included. And I encourage you to get better. So let's see here. We got some questions. I need to know how to set up Visual Studio so I can code in there and run it. All you got to do is install it, man. That's pretty much it. Do you ever prioritize finishing a task over a full night of sleep? No. I've given up quite a bit of sleep to get a dev job. Now that I am a dev, I work about an hour plus every morning on YouTube coding and an hour plus after work, and on the weekends a ton of hours. So I've put in my time. I continue to put my time in daily, but there's nothing I'm working on in my life that will ever keep me up. So there's no reason for it. I when you work every day, you're just in a groove every day. You're in a groove of life, and you ain't got to worry about, oh man, I got to finish this, because it'll be there in the morning, and there will always be something else. And when you're grinding daily, you don't have to worry about that. So, what are your thoughts on PHP? You say it's outdated, but I still feel like it's relevant. Should I invest time in learning something? So this is kind of what, if you guys watch Chris Hawk's channel, he did a video about PHP. And basically, he made some similar points he kind of shares my sentiment about it, is that there's a ton of jobs in it. Are they going to be the highest paying jobs? Are they going to be doing, greenfield development? Probably not. It's probably going to be more legacy code and maintaining things. And, it's on a slow downtrend, but it still powers about the 90% of the web no one uses. All right. So, it's something to get your foot in the door, and there's a ton of jobs, and I have no issue with people learning PHP. I'm just not a fan of it. What's your boy moving to your boy's moving to Utah tomorrow? What are some tips for moving into a new area? So, my tips to you first are get settled, right? Get your furniture, get your house together before you start worrying about the area. After that, start going on meetup.com, finding out some meetups, start meeting people. That's what meetups are for, right? And they don't only have to be coding. Do some things that you normally wouldn't do. A pottery class for $20 a week or something like that, and start introducing yourself to people. Start being a little bit more outgoing in that aspect. And so that would probably be my first tip with moving. Just get settled, get situated, and then start going to some meetups. What is a media query? A media query is essentially a way to write CSS to be responsive. That's what it is. It's a CSS, I guess, property. I'm not quite sure where a media query is classified, but a CSS aspect where we're saying, hey, in here, when the width of the page is 700 pixels, treat it as a mobile design, or treat it as a desktop design, because you should be doing mobile first, typically. How can you make a setup video about getting it ready for ready to code? So Daniel, all you really have to do is create a JavaScript file, an HTML file, and install Visual Studio Code. Comparison video for visual learners. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. I can't do a Bill Cosby impression. Hey Dylan, how did you master JavaScript, specifically the tough algorithms and knowing which methods to use for specific tasks? That's a great question, and I think instead of me answering it, you'd get a lot more value if you checked out my 100 algorithm challenge, how to ace your next JavaScript interview, which you can get in the description for $9.99, where I go over 100 different algorithm solutions to get you going. Why is your hair so luscious? Hey, bro, we just got it like that. You know what I mean? Just bought your algorithms course. Stoked dive into after taking a couple classes. I'm glad you're excited about it. I'm going to I might add some. There's a couple. I want to go into data structures and algorithms. I really go. It's basically 5 little tiny videos, just letting you know how the course goes in, and then go into 100 algorithms. And I'm cool with that. But I want to add a little bit more content, talking a little bit about like Big O, maybe traditional algorithms, data structures, data types, going into that, which is something I don't go to. You'll pick up some of that just by doing the course. But I probably want to just do a section on that to find that. How many meetups for coding would you suggest going to per month? Depends on what your objective is. I would say if you enjoy them, go as many as you want, but try to go to 1 a month. I've been kind of slacking with it quite a bit. I go to 1 like every 3 months right now. It's not good. I'm upset with myself. So did you ever do a gulp course? No. 2018, bro. Everyone uses Webpack now. It's like when I made my jQuery course, just because I had worked with it, I was like, yo, I'll make this jQuery course just because I made it, so I can say I made one and just be done with it. And I was just like making it the whole time, like, Dylan, it's 2018. No one's going to watch a jQuery course. Why are we throwing this on YouTube? All right. If you went back in time before you got your first dev job, would you apply furiously the way you did, or target companies try to establish a relationship like what John Sonman suggests? I would apply furiously. You can do both at the same time, by the way. It's not an exclusive thing. What technologies did you know before you put out your first course? Let's see. I guess HTML, CSS, JavaScript. If you want to count Bootstrap, TypeScript, Angular 1, Angular 2, a little bit of React, Git, Jasmine, Karma. What else? PHP, Cake PHP. That's all I can think of right now, but I think that was it before I put on my first course. It's like I had companies. I've had companies that talk to me like, "Hey, do you know Bower?" I was like, "I've used Bower," but if you go to the Bower, so here's the thing: if you go to literally Bower's homepage, it says, "Hey, we maintain it, but we recommend you use Webpack." I don't want to work with that technology. When the company's telling me they're done, basically. I'm done. How much do resumes matter compared to your website? I don't know if I can fill a piece of paper with buzzwords. Yes, you can. Stop being lazy. They both matter. Just do it. It sucks, but you only have to make your resume good one time, and then you just have to maintain it and update it. So stop being lazy. It sucks though, but you gotta do it. Rewinding now and taking notes. Hey, this will be up, so you can watch. You can rewatch it, guys. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So I'm just moving this shit around here. Yo, what's up, Casey? When there be jobs to convert jQuery to other frameworks in the future? With that in mind, would you consider it completely pointless to study older popular frameworks? Yes, because they're going to hire you for the new frameworks, and then they'd be happy for you to just learn new stuff, dude. That's the truth of the matter. I'm not saying it's completely pointless, but look, guys. There's a cost-benefit analysis with everything. Your time is a cost, and you have to deem what's the best benefit to use your time. And you only have so many hours in the day that you can spend studying. You know, we all have to live lifestyle. You probably all have jobs. You have kids. You got to eat. You got to go take dumps. You got to shower, presumably. Right? So you have to say, what is the biggest benefit I can get? And the biggest benefit you can get is learning in-demand technologies. There's no shortage of jQuery developers. Just get that concept in your mind. Are there a lot of jobs in jQuery? Yes. Is there a shortage of high-paying jQuery developers? No. There's a ton of people who do jQuery and only do jQuery, and they don't do JavaScript very well because of it. College or no college, and is learning programming solely about web development? Is solely building websites? No, web development. So web design is more about just building websites. Web development is about building web applications. And people often ask, what's the difference? A website is sort of like your mom and pop, you know, like what's a good gas station site, I guess, restaurant site, where it doesn't have any, all it is an address, it's got a phone number, and it might have a menu somewhere. Well, the web application is a much more complicated application. You can log in, you can order online, you can, you know, it'll estimate your orders. It's just essentially you take an inanimate object and make it an animate object, and make it dynamic in that aspect. Love your content, Dylan. I started learning code this week. Just want to go with the flow. Definitely better than shitty accounting. You know, it's funny. I took 2 or 3 accounting courses when I was in college, and I was like, hey, I like numbers, and this seems like something I would enjoy. And maybe it was 2 courses, and I was like, you know what? I'm out, man. I'm not about this life. And I changed this is years ago. I changed my major to CSS. Have I thought about making a CSS Essential course? Yes. So I am going to be making a 2 or 3 part CSS course where, so next week I have 2 videos coming out. One going over sort of all of HTML, not counting the APIs that are in HTML. I had a brain fart. It's Friday, Royce. Some things don't trigger quite as well as they used to. So I have that coming out, and this weekend, if I have time, I'm going to do a CSS tutorial or a Dolon video. I'm not quite sure which one yet. So we'll see. But I have a 2-part CSS thing I want to do. A basic, like, hey, introductions to the more fundamental parts of CSS. I did a CSS grid video, but I also need to do a flexbox video. And then I probably need to do a more in-depth CSS aspect because I want people to understand what a block. I feel like the number one thing people struggle with CSS is understanding block level elements, what that actually means, and positioning. And if I can explain that to you, everything else is just cake and it's easy. And that's going to be the goal of part 2. Let's explain the part that sucks that it seems 90% of devs struggle with. What do you think about enrolling in a 10-week data science bootcamp at a major university versus a private coding company? So I don't like major universities. I think they have lost their credibility because you go in and you don't learn what you need to learn to get a job, and they teach outdated shit. So when they get into an updated program, I have trouble trusting them. With that being said, it kind of depends what your objective here is. So if your objective is to get a piece of paper, and the one girl, and this is a story of what do they call this? A sample of one where I tutored a girl who graduated from a boot camp, and like 9 months later, she didn't have a job, and she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. It was bad. And I tutored her like 2 or 3 times, and then it was like once every couple of months, and just didn't get better. I don't know if it's her or the boot camp. I tend to believe it was the boot camp. She's a smart girl. She had a master's degree in some awful liberal stuff that wasn't making any money. So my personal opinion is that I would prefer going to a private coding boot camp. But you do make the trade-off that if you do get that certificate from an accredited university, even though it's not accredited, the university's name itself may carry more weight with it. But I personally, if I was going to make the choice, I would go to a private coding bootcamp. That's just my 2 cents on that. You accepted the challenge. Good for you, McEldean. I'm just curious, what type of maths do you use in your professional career? So this varies by in terms of the front end, you really just have to be good with algebra, and you don't really use math too much in general. You just have to be good with looping and nesting, but I would say at the very least you need to have strong algebra. Now, if you're doing like data visualization, you're diving into D3, you're gonna need to be better with geometry, maybe a little bit of calculus, depending on how you're designing your graphs and things like that. So that's what it matters. Do I have any investments? I don't really have any investments right now. I'm holding on to all my cash. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. To be honest, I need to invest pretty soon. What language should I learn for getting into fintech? I don't know. I don't know too much about it. I imagine probably a data sciencey sort of language like Python, though. But I would do more research than that. What do you think about the Phoenix framework along with Elixir as backend? I don't know anything about that. Sorry, man. Oh, man. Is WordPress actually making the switch? I thought someone told me that. So, according to this article, only a certain part of the admin tool is in JavaScript. But the bulk of it's still in PHP, at least according to just scanning this article. How quickly should, when starting to learn a language seriously, should I start building up my LinkedIn and GitHub? Immediately. Immediately. How was my week? It was pretty good, man. I had some good business calls that I can't really get into. That was good. Maybe some good news coming pretty soon that we can talk about. My work week went very well. I released my course. That's always good. I've been working for 3 months nonstop on that course. I am almost done with my 3rd coding book for the month or for the year. I want to do one a month, but I haven't been able to keep that pace. What else happened? I don't. Oh, I think I'm taking a cruise. That's going to be exciting. I've been thinking about going on a cruise for a while. I've never been on a very long vacation, so I'm thinking about taking like a 16-day cruise. I got some PTO I need to burn. My 1 year is coming up in about a month and a half or 2 months, and I think you can only carry over a week of PTO, and I got 2 weeks already that I need to swap out. So I'm looking at taking a fat cruise to Rome. I think is one of the places that we've been thinking about. We kind of just scanned some cruise. I think it was the Royal Caribbean, and the one that we liked was like 14-day cruise to Rome. So I might be going and chilling for a bit. I'll have videos all queued up and whatnot. Your boy's got videos queued up for days. Sometimes. Right now I do. So I think that might be something April and I end up doing. Learning React has less structure and it smiles easier. I tend to believe that the learning curve with Angular is harder, but I like the structure better. Should I work on open source projects or just create my own projects? I think you should probably create your own until you can work on open source projects. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny though. Because like I'm not really one of those guys to spend money. But like I'm looking at the cruise prices. I don't know if I just like I'm looking at these prices and they don't even faze me. It was a weird feeling where like I saw these prices and I was just like, well, it's $800 if I get the shitty room. I was like, well, what's the nice room? It's like $1,700. Well, shit, I'll just get the nice room then. Like it was this weird moment where like, oh shit, we can actually afford the nice room. You know what I mean? It's like before you didn't have the choice. You know what I mean? And you know, I save half my income. So I have money in the bank and I don't really spend on anything. So like I've been working hard and I was like, I'm gonna treat myself. But I was just looking at it the other day and it was just a weird thing where it's like it's a strange feeling. And I you know, I try not to talk about finances too much on this because that's not what this channel is about. But when you eliminate your number one stressor in life, which typically is money, it's very strange when you don't have to worry about money anymore. Like you don't have to do the bills, you don't have to worry about paying rent, and it's been a hard road to get here. And it's one that I'm still not fully accustomed to, which is why I'm saying like I was looking at these things last night. But it's a weird thing where I've said comments like this where like I was talking to a girl at my work and she's like, "Oh, where are your glasses?" And this is a couple of months back. I was like, "Oh, I got laser surgery in my eye, so I don't need them. It's only $400." And she was like, "Only $400?" Yeah, I couldn't spend but that's like I've said that I've had that only this where I've said, it's only $400, and I've had people like jump out of their skin that I would even say that. And so it's a strange place to be in. It's a good place, I guess, but it's very strange. But I mean, that's what hard work gets you, man. At the end of the day, you get to enjoy a little bit of life here or there. I also said that at an Amscot, and the woman I swear looked at me like she was about to shank me when I said something like that. We were just having a conversation. But anyhow, that's enough about money. What should I have for dinner tonight, guys? That's what I'm really curious. But yeah, so the last, I don't know if you guys saw our cruise video. The last cruise I got on Groupon, it was a 2-day cruise. It was like $300 for the both of us, and it was so unbelievably janky. I think it was fun, but I think it was a little bit too short, man. Steak and lobster. So I've had pizza twice this week, and here's the thing, boys. Your boy's going on a diet. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want it to be, but I'm going on a diet. April's been on the keto diet, and she's super hyped. She's been doing really well with it, and she has decided to start poking my pudge. Your boy's been stacking abs on abs. You know what I mean? So I got abs on top of the abs on top of the abs. I need to remove some abs so it doesn't look like I have so much. So pretty soon I'll be going on the keto diet as well, or a form of it. So Josh Blockheed says, 30 applications later, I finally got my first interview for a front-end dev position. Congratulations to you, Josh. Make sure you prepare. Make sure you do some mock technical interviews. You can answer all the typical questions. Jermaine Gonzalez says, finally got hired today. Now Laravel and Vue Dev. Congratulations to you, sir. Keep on grinding it out. Are you a coffee or tea kind of guy? So I drink a little bit of black tea, about a glass a day at work. Although I'm trying to cut it back because I was, for the last 2 or 3 months, I was 0 caffeine. And I was feeling great. And I started drinking black tea again, and it's been one of those things where I think it's messing with my sleep because I've been waking up earlier and earlier. You can see these black eyes. Look at me, man. It looks like someone punched me in the face, like in both eyes. It's not a good look. So I'm going to be going cold turkey with caffeine. Again, because I think it's even the little bit amount that I have, I think it's messing with my sleep patterns. It could just be stress also. But I typically, in the past, I've been a monster type of guy. Yeah, I don't drink soda at all. I might actually play some games this weekend, man. On PlayStation Plus, they got the in which case is 1 plus 1 not equal to 2? In JavaScript, it's when they're both strings and it's equal to 11. But so yeah, so I think this weekend I'm going to play a little bit of XCOM 2, which came on to PlayStation Plus, as well as Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Yeah. Would you mind if I recontextualize clips from your channel in the name of education? I have the same eyes, but I ain't got the job yet. I don't know what that means. Recontextualize. Your boy isn't educated enough to understand what that actually means. Place or consider in a new or different context. I don't want you taking my videos and putting them on your channel, if that's what you're saying. Yes, the smoke stuff you see is just the essential oils. Yeah, I liked XCOM 1, and I have XCOM 2 on the PC. I just haven't had a chance to play it. And honestly, when I play games, I don't really like playing them on the PC unless I have to. In the workplace, have you ever had to deal with other developers' egos or strong opinions about a topic? Of course. Of course, of course, of course. People are very opinionated about things, and sometimes those opinions are wrong. I tend to take most things as a learning experience, and you have to be able to respectfully explain to them why they're wrong, and you have to respectfully kind of educate them, as well as be willing to be educated. Don't be this guy who has an opinion but is not willing to listen to someone else. Yeah, if you want to edit certain parts, just like 30 seconds out of a video and throw it in yours, as long as you link my channel in the description and it's literally, you're not gutting out 5 minutes out of a 10-minute video, I think that's fine. Have I completed free code camp? No. I've done a lot of it though. A good portion of it. I would say if I actually turned my projects in, about 75%. I used to really like World of Warcraft. I played it for a couple of years. Not anymore. I got my life together a little bit where I can't go back. Although I wanted to play this expansion. I told my coworker, I said, Bobby, if you're gonna play World of Warcraft, let me know. I got the itch. I want to play again. And he told me, nah, dude, I ain't going back. I ain't going back. And I find out from another coworker that he's been playing for the last couple of weeks without me. I'm pretty salty about it. I keep on meaning to bring it up to him. But that and League of Legends, those are my sort of things. I played a lot more League than I did WoW. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Am I living in Florida? Yes. How long did it take you to adjust after relocating for the job? I wouldn't say you ever fully adjust, right? It's always a little bit different. Going from California to Florida, it's not like it's a shock, but it is a bit of an adjustment. Yeah, and like MMOs and League of Legends, those were things I had to give up when I wanted to learn to code, right? I was like, okay, I don't have time for this anymore at all. Zero time. It doesn't happen anymore. I'm grinding. So yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Bobby, I better text that mofo. I'm telling Bobby, you ain't shit, bro. Shit, what is Bobby's number? I got a new phone. I don't think I transferred over Bobby's number. Oh, well. Feed those cats. I hear you, man. It's all good, man. It's all good. Is Ruby consistent in the web? I would say JavaScript's probably more consistent. That'd be my advice, man. Look, man, there's a reason boot camps have shied away from Ruby. It's not, it's, you know. You said you didn't like game development, I think is what you mean. What was so bad about it? There's nothing really bad about game development. I have very little experience in it, and it's kind of fun when you're making your own games. But from the people I've talked to in the industry, it's a super high stress, high deadline, crunch mode always, and you don't get paid very well because pretty much every dev at some point in their life dreamed of being a game developer. So there's a high competition. So you're adding higher stress, higher competition, more work for less money. That's why I stay away from it. What kind of phone do I have? I have a OnePlus 6S. It's 8 gigs RAM with 256 gig hard drive. It's pretty nice. Follow up. How screwed am I with App Academy's coursework then, since it's mostly Ruby and latter parts React Node.js? I don't know how screwed you are, man. But I mean, it's not to say that there aren't Ruby jobs, but there's less Ruby jobs being generated than there are Ruby devs, in my opinion. Like the gap is much larger. The gap is much larger in terms of React, so you're probably going to get hired as a React dev. So start upping those React and Node.js skills. Portfolio review? No, man. I'm not in. Oh, fuck it. All right, I'll do it, then. Let's see what we got here. Ugh. Guys, you know, I'm too nice, man. That's the problem here. Let's see what we got. All right. You beat me down, boys. Too tired to say no. All right, let's see here. Let's see what we're working with. All right, so rule number 1, unless this is my extension. All right. Error file not found. You have 2 console log errors. Automatically, if these aren't my extensions blocking this and it's not, I'd already be upset with you as someone who's interviewing your site. Find out what's going on with your files here. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, did you actually do this yourself? I don't know. That's a sick logo, though. I like that. I'm Rashov, product engineer and developer. Very nice. Cool. I develop software applications. Download resume. Very nice. It downloads. Let's look at your resume on the chart here. All right. Your resume needs some work. I'm not going to put your resume on channel because it's got your info on it. But work on your resume. Professional. Look at this. Broskies. Look at that. So one thing I would say is it's kind of hard to see this. So I'd probably make either your font bigger or add an outline around it. This is kind of I don't want to say it's a neutral color, but it's not. It's kind of like it's just make it a little just make it a little thicker. It's a nice effect, that's for sure. I don't really know. I mean, I'm not really digging the picture in the background. Like if I saw this and I just saw some dude's foot on the desk, I said, "Get your feet off that fucking desk." That's so I don't know about the feet on the desk thing. You might be able to find a better photo than that. Um, Portfolio items. We'll go ahead and open this up real quick. This is excellent. This is actually something I wanted to build into my thing. I might be ripping off how you do this. No. All right, so is this all I gotta do to get the chart? What is this chart? Where's this chart? So this is coming from some file. I gotta find out where they get that chart and look into that. That's something I want to do on my desk. See more. I like that animation. This page could use some work, that's for sure. So you just want to apply like maybe some sort of a grid system where like this isn't even spaced evenly, right? So you definitely need to fix the spacing here. You need to keep the text inbound. Like this is unacceptable that the text is going outside the image. Same thing here. So you got to fix this page. That's for sure. That's cool. I don't think this image is centered. You need to center this image. That looks good. I mean, maybe choose a more relevant background, right? I would eliminate all this empty space. There's nothing going on here. You have a whole page of empty space. I'd eliminate that. I would indent the you can indent the input a bit just because so we're not all like butt to nut on this input, right? So we could do something like this. I think it's padding. All you have to do, padding dash left, px. You just indent it a little bit. Like that. You know, you could add a cool little hover effect on here. When it's focused, it changes color, something easy like that. Yeah, blog. It's nice. I question if you made it yourself, though. That would be my one thing is, did you actually make this yourself? Or is this a template that you've modified? That'd be my one thing I would question. But yeah, it's good, dude. All right, let's see what questions did I miss from you chumps. I'm not doing any more portfolio reviews, so don't even bother asking, guys. Let's see here. You made it? Nice. All right. Where can I get information for building my LinkedIn and GitHub? I have like 2 or 3 videos on my channel talking about it. You can start there. Have you seen Sharp? C's used a lot for the back end. So C# is used for the back end, and .NET. It's actually a great language to learn and get started with. You know what we should test it? We should test the mobile responsiveness also. So here. What we want to do is test the response. So you always want to test responsiveness. So we'll just, I don't know, Galaxy 5 or something. So you can see right here, this needs some padding on the side. This is extending out, so you got to fix that. You definitely probably want to add some stylings for when it's like this to show a difference on here between there. And you want to maybe add a hover effect to it if it's like that, right? As well. Oh, it does have a hover effect. Cool. But you want to maybe make a little, maybe put like a border bottom across things. Cool. For that, it looks pretty good. Yeah, see, like right here, this is running it over this. This you can't have shit like this happen. Like if I'm counting on you doing responsive design and your portfolio site is doing this, you gotta fix that, man. So you gotta fix the responsive aspects of it. But yeah, so that's crucial. That's absolutely crucial. But it's a great portfolio, man, without a doubt. You just got a few hiccups that you gotta take care of. That's all. Was there any YouTube channel that was really helpful in your coding journey? Yeah, my own, believe it or not. Just sticking to something like that in my learning path was really great. Yeah, and so when you're building your thing, I would take a mobile first approach. Build it mobile, then you build it desktop. But in terms of YouTube channels, God, honestly, so here's the crazy thing, man, and correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, but there was only a couple real coding channels up until maybe 2-3 years ago. And it's sort of been one of those niches that have been starting to explode, I think. Explode in the sense of like the amount of channels. Not that like oh my God, tech channels or software channels are doing so crazy. The one channel I would say that helped me a lot was Derek Bonas at the time. Derek Bonas was like my go-to tutorial guy, and that really helped me quite a bit. I got a question, man. In your opinion, is it worth having a YouTube account solely for branding purpose? Branding is the future web dev. Branding for future web dev employment. Here's the thing, man. A lot of people make YouTube dev channels to become YouTubers. That's probably a bad idea. Now, if you want to have a cool side project and you want to become a better dev, then it doesn't really matter how successful your channel is. You know, it'll motivate you more, but it doesn't really matter how successful your channel is. But it's a great item to have in that arena. So I personally think it's worth your time, but I'm already seeing returns on investment, right? I think it's a great way for me to learn and become a better developer, and those returns are great. And now my channel's at a point where it's actually making me a little bit more money, and it's great for branding. But what it's really great for is it just shows my passion. It shows that genuinely enjoy this stuff. How do we know you genuinely enjoy the code? I don't know. I put out 800 fucking videos. I don't know. What do I need to put out? Do I need to hit the 4 digits? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's there. It's not debatable anymore. You know, it's absolutely 100% proven. You can see that I code, right? You can see that I can code. You can watch tutorials of me explaining concepts that we're going to be using in the real world. We'll get to 4 digits soon. Don't worry, guys. But do you think a channel with less than 1,000 subs is good for branding? It kind of says that your brand is kind of copy. It doesn't matter, man. Here's the thing: is you're looking at it from a success standpoint. You having videos on YouTube, doing stuff. I got my first. You know how I got my first. You know how I got my break into coding? When I became a technology trainer at a software company. You know what hired me? The fact that I had a YouTube channel. I had 500 subscribers at that point. They're like, hey, what's this YouTube channel thing? I was like, well, I'm trying to get, my goal is to become a developer. I'm studying all these concepts. I've done tutorials on Codecademy covering these topics. I edit the videos. I started to do walkthroughs because I do it a couple times. And that got me my very first real break into the software world. So when you say, is it even worth with a channel less than 1,000 subs? It was for me. I went from a pizza delivery driver to making $22 an hour full time with benefits and working at a software company, be able to work amongst devs, ask questions, and from there, grind myself into an excellent position. So yes, I completely think a lot of you guys don't want to grind anymore, man. You know what? You know how you get to 100,000 subs? You start at 0 like everybody else. So be willing to understand that it's going to take a while to get over 1,000 subs. You have to keep moving forward, man. None of us woke up and started at 10,000 subs. We all started at 0, you know? So yeah, you got to walk before you run, man. That's the thing, World Z. You got to walk before you run. Do I use Nootropics? Not anymore. I have in the past. How much time do I usually spend on a video? It kind of depends on the video. On a tutorial, a lot more time than I spend on like a video. Like the video I released today will do better. The video I talked about, I filmed a 15-minute video of me talking to my car, will do better than a tutorial that I spent all weekend on. But those are the types of things where I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to just remind myself of the foundations or learn some new framework or continue moving forward. That's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, Daniel. I think it's fine for you to start teaching them code when they're ready. Oh, man. So yeah. Anyhow, guys, it has been it is always a pleasure talking with all of you and having these weekend AMAs and continuing out. Look forward to next week's videos where we're going over everything HTML. And I also have another video. What's my other video? I recorded 2 videos for next week already. We're set to go, dude. We're knocking shit out left and right. Oh, Code Like a Pro functions, and go from there. So it has been a pleasure. Don't forget to check out my my money's on Miocic. But don't forget, is that this weekend? Is that this weekend, that UFC fight? No, it's not. I'm checking real quick before I do my outro. I need to know. Oh, no, it's next weekend. You got me all hyped, bro. I was like, yes. Don't forget to check out my courses, guys. There's links in the description. I just released the 100 algorithm challenge. I hope you challenge yourself and decide to take it and progress and be ready to grind and do better in the technical interview arena. I'll see y'all later. Bye.